Here we go.
Okay, here's an advanced warning. This video is not a news video. This is an opinion slash mild rant video. Now you are aware of this.
Yeah, it's like the cringy profanity, like how in Battlestar Galactica they say frack instead of fuck.
Don't bitch about it in this video's comments. Enjoy.
Oh good, I don't have a bad taste in my mouth from other PlayStation channels.
What is up, gamers? It is Fox. You're watching PlayStation.
Not channel info.
So, we know PS4 has surpassed 50 million consoles sold to consumers, placing it above the Super Nintendo, Genesis, Nintendo 64, GameCube, and the OG Xbox lifetime numbers. Now, the salted peanuts in our beloved community have said, who cares about sales?
Well, salted peanuts are actually quite delicious, so I don't know why you'd use that as a pejorative.
Well, sales are important not only for Sony PlayStation, but for developers and publishers. Why? Well, because more sales equals more investment, equals more games for the end user.
That's why the PC has the largest library of games by a significant margin, right? Between the consoles, though, the PlayStation 4 definitely has more games. And when you take that list and you compare it with the Xbox One, it's not close at all. Especially in the realm of exclusives. Though, if you compare the companies, Sony and Microsoft, at least by their market caps, which is the value of all the stock being traded, not necessarily the value of the company, then it's nowhere close. So it is interesting to see these two companies with Sony's PlayStation doing far better than Microsoft's Xbox. However, Microsoft, in terms of being a company, is doing far better than Sony is. To me, this makes it really interesting to see what these companies might pull out for their next console iteration or generation or whatever they decide to do.
This is why sales matter.
Well, that's not being entirely genuine, is it? Because we both know there's a lot more that goes into it than just the amount of games you can give people. You see, Sony in terms of consoles is leading the pack by a significant margin. Perhaps in terms of the gamers and the consumers, they're leading by maybe too much. After all, Sony is so far ahead they can do things like, I don't know, raise the price of PlayStation Plus because they know that everybody will pay it. Raising this price is basically free money, which is really what these online services are anyway, just free money. But they know they could bump it up $10 or so, 20 in fact if you're in Canada. Or so I've heard. People will pay for it. They are so far ahead. They're making so many more sales than Xbox is. They don't need people to come over. The gap is so big, they don't need to woo people. It affords Sony, for instance, the ability to say no to EA access. If you want EA access, you gotta go to PC or the Xbox. And I think a lot of people overlook the usefulness of having EA access. EA has a massive and fantastic library of games to choose from. EA access is a really smart buy for a lot of people. It is only good for the consumers to have the option to have EA access. But Sony has denied that to you. Because they know they don't need that extra incentive for you to go PlayStation. They're so far ahead. Yeah, this is the same Sony who will increase the price of PlayStation Plus, a service you shouldn't have to pay for anyway, and then then have the gall to say that they don't think paying $5 a month for this arguably excellent access program doesn't represent a good value to PlayStation gamers. You know what? Sony basically spat on your face when they did that, but that's okay. That's okay. Sony knows what's best for you. Are these two things, for instance, are they advantages? Are these two aspects of PlayStation good for the consumer?
It may be uncomfortable for you to read and hear how well PS4 is doing,
Actually, I don't really care that much.
but that would be because you are emotionally invested when you really ought to be playing and enjoying video games.
Oh, someone ironically telling us what we should be doing. Oh, joy. I mean, the obvious question is why you're making videos like this instead of, playing video games, but...
Okay, so we're fully aware of the problems in the console community, well, the game community as a whole. We've been dealing with it for years.
Well, accepting it for years.
But the console fanboy has nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, on the so-called self-appointed elitist PC master race.
You know, I've learned a lot on YouTube. I have learned a lot on YouTube. I'm a much wiser dog now than I was many, many months ago. And one of the things that I've learned is that there is probably no more foul of a person than a console fanboy is. They are ignorant and stupid and prideful and haughty. They slander, they lie, they are cult-like in how they behave online, and they are cruel even to one another. Corporate slaves and console fanboys are far, far worse than any member of the PC master races. I can guarantee you this, and subscribers to my channel, watchers of my videos, they know just what I'm talking about.
What a terribly insecure community of tech turds.
Whether we agree most of the time or not, thank you for retaining dignity and respect. Oh boy, this isn't gonna age well, is it?
PCs have nothing to do with console gaming.
Yeah, but that's not true, is it? PC gaming and console gaming are not these islands unto themselves that never interact with one another. That's ridiculous. After all, just look at the games that the consoles themselves have. The vast majority of games are not exclusives. They are multi-platform, and many of these with PC. In fact, as we all know, many games are created on the PC, and then when they get to a certain level in development, for instance, or when the developer feels it's necessary, they will bring these games to the console for the console players to enjoy. But the majority of games on the consoles, and by a significant margin, are multi-platform. Obviously, there are differences between the ecosystems and the player bases of the PCs and consoles, but developers will make games for both. Publishers will publish games on both. Companies that make peripherals will make peripherals for both. Even in the most casual of circumstances, a console gamer and a PC gamer can talk about similar games. You see, one of the reasons that so many PC gamers know so much about console gaming is that most people who play on PC have had or have in the past owned a console, and they know about playing on one and things that go into them. And console gamers who have never touched a PC, and even if they don't have any interest in PC, they owe it to at least themselves to be somewhat educated on what the PC gaming market's doing, what's happening in the ecosystem, what games are coming out, because there are a lot of fantastic games that hopefully are on PC and will make their way to the consoles for them to enjoy. But to say that PC gaming and console gaming have nothing to do with one another is insanely foolish. It demonstrates one severe lack of knowledge.
A lot of the tech turds like to comment speak on consoles on YouTube and on social media, but get this, console gamers don't really make videos criticizing PC because we don't care.
Well, you clearly do, actually. This video's proof enough of that, though I think it's interesting that you for some reason think that comment sections belong only to people who own the systems. I, for instance, have made comments on Crap Gamer videos. He won't talk to me. He blocked me on Twitter, for instance, before we could exchange any sort of words because he is a coward. But if you're trying to reach an audience, especially an audience of perhaps, say, console gamers, then wouldn't videos that are about consoles be one way to do that? But you see, here's the thing. We can comment on whatever we like, whenever we like to do it. Just as how console gamers are more than welcome and are in fact encouraged to watch and comment on my content. You'd think you'd be happy to see a PC gamer in your comment section because then you'd know that my content is being watched by a PC gamer. And well, some of us actually do have large audiences that follow them who do like to partake in the joy that comes from a video by some of their favorite YouTubers, especially when they address the bullshit that's hurled our way.
We don't even mention PC.
Alright, you say that, right? You say that you guys don't bring up PC and you don't mention PC, but that's sort of demonstrably untrue, isn't it? What do they call it these days? That's fake news. That is just not true at all. I make videos on these people all the time. In fact, even you have made videos about the PC. I mean, you would assume that if you say it doesn't happen, you wouldn't be guilty of doing that thing, but I mean, I'm not going to tell you how to run your channel.
Why? Well, we don't give a flying frack grenade. That's why.
Alright, the attempts of getting around swearing are actually really cringy.
But there comes a time when we must reluctantly call out ridiculousness in whatever form it takes.
Reluctant? No, I'm happy to do it.
Now we should make it clear. PC gamers who enjoy playing their games at higher fidelity and higher performance without shitting on console gamers.
Well, there's way more advantages than that to PC gaming, but yeah.
I take no issue with that. But see, here's the problem.
When they talk about all those advantages, they're right, and you know they're right, and you can't counter that? And that makes you upset?
An Ark Survival developer who probably nobody's ever heard of made a claim, a very bold claim at that the PS4 Pro is the equivalent of a $900 PC.
Alright, you say that was a bold claim? That was a lie. Alright? Don't dress it up. That wasn't a bold claim. That was just a flat-out lie. A demonstrably, I like that word, a demonstrably untrue lie.
And the so-called master race lost their goddamn minds.
Yeah, because that was a lie. It is not true. That was not true information. It was a lie. It was a lie about something that we enjoy. It was a lie about platforms, and we understand that it has massive potential to mislead people. When you go online and you're deciding, what should I get? What should I buy? I'm a consumer. I've got money to burn. Whatever should I spend my money on? And then you hear some Ark dev saying that a console will run this game better than a $900 PC. Here's the article. This one's from Tweaktown. A lot of places did it. I think WCCF Tech or whatever had one too. Again, the reason I leave these pictures of mine, because it's way easier for me to just take a picture, screenshot it, and crop it with the place I got it from up top, instead of going to the link and putting it down in the description. It's like, you people can find this shit. I'm rambling. The Ark Dead said a dumb. He said a dumb thing. His brain took a fart, and he said a dumb thing. I don't know why he said it. Maybe, I don't know why. Because someone who develops for a game on PC, or who develops on console, or does both, obviously should know his shit. And he does. And that's why I think when a developer says something like this, people give a developer a certain level of trust. When a developer says something, people say to themselves, wow, he must know what he's talking about. So when he goes out and just blatantly lies about something like this, and when I said it was demonstrably untrue, here's what I mean. This is an MSI Gaming GeForce GTX 1060, 6GB GDDR5 DirectX 12 VR ready, blah, blah, blah. It's a 1060. Takes a steaming shit all over a PlayStation in terms of its ability to perform well in games and with its benchmarks, and it only costs $260. That leaves you quite a bit of extra change to make a $900 PC. Hell, we can bump it up to the next level. That's what I'm about. Let's go to the GTX 1070. This is a Zotac Amp Extreme GTX 1070. It's probably the strongest 1070 variant you can get. Don't quote me on that, but I think it probably is. And if it's not, it's one of the best you can buy. This one's $430. That leaves you with $470 to make the rest of your build. And this thing whereas the 1060 took a steaming shit all over the PlayStation 4, this insults its mother while fucking the PlayStation's mother. And then, against the terms of service, live streams it to Facebook as they snowball afterwards. Look it up. So the thing is, a PC gamer wants more people to game on the PC. We think it's the best place to play. We think it offers you all these advantages, many of them just flat-out objective advantages over consoles. We want more people to come to the PC, enjoy the higher number of games, higher number of exclusives, the frame rate, the graphics, all the stuff. And so, when an article comes out here that will possibly sway people away from getting a PC based on a total lie, a complete fabrication of information, yeah, that will make us upset. We both do not like being lied to, and we do not like being lied about. And by that I mean having our platform lied about. You're a PlayStation channel. Imagine someone came out and said that the Xbox One had more exclusives, or that the Xbox One had more games, or that the Xbox One was stronger.
Triggered. The PC gaming rig these elitist plebs have is so incredibly, so powerful, so future-proofed that they can't stop thinking and commenting about consoles.
Well, those two things don't have much to do with one another. How future-proof your rig is has nothing to do with what videos you like to comment on.
The PC mustard race are obsessed with consoles.
No.
They just can't stop talking about them. You see, the console you have, particularly the PS4, since Microsoft foolishly allowed Xbox One games onto the PC...
Well, it's good for the consumer. I don't know what a PlayStation user would know about good for the consumer, but...
Well, the PC mustard race want to trash PS4 for 30 frames per second.
Yeah, because 30 frames per second is garbage. No game is better because it is at 30 FPS compared to higher frames per second, and you certainly do not do as good at 30 FPS as you could do at higher frames. It is holding back your ability to do things in video games. Yeah, we hate it. It's awful. It's choppy. It's sluggish.
And missing graphical effects.
Yeah, because aren't better graphics better? I mean, all other things being equal, aren't better graphics better?
Etc., etc. But all the time, they lust after the games. The exclusive PS4 games.
You're doing the JTech TV thing where you think this is a point. I mean, let's look at it this way. A lot of PC gamers would like to have PlayStation 4 exclusives. A lot of PlayStation users would like to have Microsoft exclusives. A lot of Nintendo users would like to have PC exclusives. A lot of Xbox owners would like Nintendo exclusives. It goes on and on and on. The fact that you try to make this about PCs and PlayStations is ridiculous. The fact that you mock other people for wanting games that they can't currently play with the systems they have is ridiculous. It makes you look like a fucking dick. As a gamer, don't you want your fellow gamers to have access to those games? Don't you want PlayStation exclusives to go to other platforms for other people to enjoy? Isn't that something that you should want? Why would you be happy that games that you play and potentially enjoy immensely should not be available to other people? Or at least available in the sense that it comes with a massive paywall. Well, I mean, you're on PlayStation and you pay $60 a year to play the multiplayer of your own games. You know about paywalls, and I guess maybe you are okay with them now that I think about it. But what's wrong with people who play on other systems wanting the games that you can play? Are you going to tell me that you've never wanted a game that wasn't available on PlayStation?
Games like Uncharted 4, games like The Last of Us Part 2, but these games are and will remain exclusive to the PS4.
You know, the other day I was thinking, you know what I need more of? I need more third-person cover-based shooters. Nah, I'm just messing around. I would love for these games to go to other systems. I want the largest amount of people to enjoy the largest amount of games as humanly possible. I would love to get my paws on these games, maybe. I mean, the first Last of Us, I still think, and you can quote me on this, I think the first Last of Us is still among the most overrated game ever made. Like Overwatch. Dislike, unsubscribe. Yeah, I said it. Kiss my fluffy orange ass. But in all seriousness, let's actually look at these two examples that he said. The Last of Us 2, which isn't even out. You can't play it, actually, so I don't know why you're bringing it up. And we have Uncharted 4. What about these two games? What asset do these games have? What attribute do these games possess that has really anything to actually do with the PlayStation as a system, as a platform? There's nothing about these games that really has anything to do with the PlayStation other than you can only play them on PlayStation. That's it. And that's an arbitrary design choice of these games. Granted, I understand you're a first-party, third-party developer. I understand there's a whole web that you have to get into when you talk about exclusives and things, but nothing about those games. We don't want those games because they have anything to do with PlayStation. We want the games for their own merits. So even this point of yours by saying, well, PC gamers, and of course Xbox gamers and Nintendo gamers want PlayStation games, just like how every other gamer who plays on one platform wants every other person's platform's games. Really? The fact that these games are on PlayStation at all is almost coincidental? Because certainly not even you would be foolish enough to say that these games would be superior on a PlayStation console if they were also available on PC.
PC gamers will have to wait at least 5 to 6 years for these games to maybe appear on PlayStation now. So really, who are the real peasants?
Well, if wanting PlayStation games makes you a peasant, then by your admission, isn't that sort of implying that every person who plays, PlayStation is a pet? I understand you didn't think it out, but listen. PS Now is on PC, and not only is PlayStation Now on PC, and not only is the PlayStation 4 controller being used as a Steam controller, and not only has PlayStation 4 now dumped the old PlayStation 3 in the handhelds that Sony has, meaning that it's only on the PlayStation 4 and the PC, it's clear that they're moving it forward. It's clear they're taking PlayStation Now and they're bringing it into more modern systems. Will it happen, though? Maybe. Eventually. Sooner? Later? Who knows? But again, I ask you, as a gamer, surely you want it to be sooner, don't you? Surely you would want the largest audience of gamers who are on the PC. Surely you would want them to have access to all these excellent games of yours, right?
You've got these insecure maggots constantly evangelizing their superior PC gaming rigs, but then they learn that the Ark Survival developer made a claim that PS4 Pro is the equivalent of a $900 PC, and it irritates them so much they get triggered into typing nonsense.
Well, I'm certain that a PlayStation fanboy would absolutely think that legitimate arguments are nonsense. You'd have to. Go into any of these articles that talk about it and go directly to the comment sections. And it's full of PC players calling them out, explaining why it's not true, linking you to actual examples. I put 2 screenshots right now you could take advantage of. So it's really not nonsense, is it? It's just things you don't like to hear, because you know they're right.
Like this, and I quote, "Spend $400 on an OG PS4, spend $400 on a PS4 Pro."
Wait a second. That sounds familiar.
Spend $60 a year on PlayStation Plus, should have just purchased a PC. End of quote.
And who, pray tell, does that quote belong to, I wonder? Oh boy, what tangled webs we weave. Look at that. I thought that sounded familiar. You know, I heard this when I was listening to Top Hats and Champagne do a live critique of this video. And when I heard you say this the first time in that live stream, I couldn't help but realize, wait one moment, that verbiage, it's just something about it sounds so familiar. I can't quite put a finger on, oh yeah, that's right. That's something that I said in December. December the 9th. Wow. What about that? You see, here's what's so interesting. You apparently know about the things that I've said on Twitter. So you're talking about how much console gamers don't care about the PC. You're talking about how we should all just shut up and play our video games. And yet, you have enough knowledge about not only who I am, of course, because, well, come on. You probably know who I am at this point if you run in these little circles on our corner of the internet. But you know enough to quote me directly. You're quoting my tweets on Twitter, not from a YouTube comment, not from one of your videos, for instance, from Twitter, an entirely separate website that I post to. And I didn't tag anybody in this. That means either someone who knows of you tagged you elsewhere, which means you have people who will show this to you, or you found it yourself, which means you care enough to look for it. Either way, you have an involvement in my Twitter feed. So, of course, That means, to a degree, you do care, obviously. You do care. You're making this video on it, you're quoting me, and not only are you quoting me, you're not saying it's me. You're afraid to say my name, or you don't want the attention that saying my name will bring. You don't want to involve me in this video where you quote me. And many out there might say, well, that kind of makes you a little bitch. I'm not saying that. But some people might say that. No, I am saying it. It does kind of make you a little bitch, doesn't it? If you're going to make a criticism of somebody else, and you're going to quote them, right? Because I'm obviously the inspiration for this here. You're going to quote the opposing idea. You're going to quote the opposition directly, and you're not even going to say their name? Very interesting. I also think it's interesting that I'm going through the comments on this months and months old tweet, and I'm reading down the list of all of the comments, and there seems to be a lot of triggered, as you would say, console gamers and PlayStation users who are very upset that I tweeted this out. What do you think about that? Or do the rules only apply to us and not to you? Just a thought I had, that's all. Let's carry on, now that we've discovered this mysterious quote maker.
You can smell the insecurity in that tweet.
Well, it's not an argument, actually, but it's the opposite, if you actually think about it, which you didn't do, obviously. The point is, I made the tweet, I said that because I'm very secure in my own position. I'm saying here that if you bought a PlayStation 4 at release, if you bought a PlayStation 4 Pro, if you're spending $60 a year on PlayStation Plus to play online, then, I mean, that's a lot of money. That stuff adds up. And I think that a better way to have spent all that money is to have bought a PC. Because I'm secure in that stance. And I'm secure in the things that I believe in that way. It's not because I'm insecure. I'm tweeting this for the exact opposite reason that you think I am. You don't have much of a grasp on this thing.
Nobody's talking about PC other than, hey, I've got this graphics card. I've got this amount of RAM, yada, yada, yada.
Well, I've shown how that's not true.
Yet they have a pop at Xbox gamers for highlighting the benefits of Xbox Scorpio.
Well, yeah, because we don't know much about it now. We knew even less about it when they were making these comments, which means that they were either making these statements out of, wishful thinking, or they were trying to play it up in nothing but faith and hope that it would be as great as they thought. They were guessing, stabbing at nothing in the darkness. They were making statements that wouldn't be falsifiable, technically, for ages. They were making statements and claims with practically nothing to go on. They were telling people, don't buy a PC because in a year from now, in 12 months from now, in 13, 14 months from now, in a year and a half from now, the Scorpio will be out. And while we don't know there's basically nothing that we know about it, and the company that is making it has, well, they like to lie and mislead people. I mean, don't you think that obviously stuff like that should be called out as a consumer?
What a bunch of parasitical, hypercritical garden fairies.
Whether we agree most of the time or not, thank you for retaining dignity and respect. Oh boy, this isn't gonna age well, is it?
Who feel the need to put their PC gaming rig in the limelight and get their scrawny, spindly, nerdy frames some attention. Ask them like I did. Did you buy a $400 OG PS4?
Yes.
Did you buy a $400 PlayStation 4 Pro?
No.
Have you spent $60 per year on PlayStation Plus?
Wait, wasn't it 50?
If not, why the concern over what other people do with their money?
Well, because even though you seem to believe otherwise, PCs and consoles exist in the same market and they do have something to do with one another. In fact, we can see this now with a Nintendo Switch, for instance. You have consoles with a bunch of people paying Microsoft and Sony to play their own games multiplayer online. They have a huge section of their games basically held hostage behind a paywall. And Nintendo has seen that, and they have looked upon it, and they've said to themselves, wow, that's basically like printing free money because these people will actually pay us to play their games online. You know what we should do? We should do the same thing. We should start making the people who buy our system pay us so that we can allow them to play their own games online. Isn't that insane? But if you guys had never paid, like, you know, because there's no reason to, because that fee is completely arbitrary, do you think Nintendo would have made it exist on the Switch? If people didn't buy DLCs and season passes for anything and everything, and with so much frequency, do you think they would have made DLC or season passes for Breath of the Wild? Hell, if PlayStation, if Sony hadn't seen all of the money that Microsoft was making off of Xbox Live and its subscription, do you think they would have also started charging you money to play your own games online? Do you think that you would be paying $60, used to be $50, $60 a year if they hadn't gotten the idea from someone else? The things that one console does will affect the other ones, whether you like it or not. And when companies make the same games, and they have even different games on different platforms, like the PC and the Xbox, or the PC and the PlayStation, when you have all these developers and publishers, and they got their fingers in all the platforms, and we see trends from one to another, and most games that we play are multi-plats, don't you think that maybe there might be a cause for concern, especially amongst PC gamers, to see so many console gamers so readily, and many times happily and proudly, strange enough, because these people are retarded? Don't you think that concerns us? We know that Valve and Blizzard, we know all these companies that make games on PCs, we know that they're watching what consoles do. We know that they're watching. And there's a lot of things that happen on console that we don't exactly want to come to PC, that no PC player should want.
Check out this imbecile's reply.
Whether we agree most of the time or not, thank you for retaining dignity and respect. Oh boy, this isn't gonna age well, is it?
And I quote, "I did buy the PS4 when it launched. Waste of money. At least I got a nifty controller for my PC."
Yeah, the PS4 controller's pretty nice, as far as controllers go. I use it every once in a while, mostly for the novelty of it, but that's alright.
End of quote. So really, this complete and utter moron
Dignity and respect.
basically admits to spending $400 on a DualShock 4 controller.
No, I didn't buy the controller for $400. I bought a PlayStation 4 for $400. It comes with a controller and like the cords and stuff in a box. It's like a package deal.
Yet has the audacity to criticize those who purchased a $400 PS4 or a $400 PlayStation 4 Pro.
Well, yeah. People buy things for different reasons. And the fact that I bought one and have experience with it, and I know the value and the cost of the item that I've purchased, that gives me even more of a place to criticize those people. You see, the difference is I regret that purchase immensely. I would much rather have not made that buy. And for me, the point is extra valid because I didn't buy a $60 subscription to play my own games that I've purchased online, and I have bought the console, even though I didn't get the Pro, because that would be not intelligent. I only spent $400 in like a month of time, and I still would have rather put that money towards a PC.
Yup, PC gaming is so magnificent, so great, so fucking wonderful. These PC elitist cretins are constantly talking about PlayStation 4.
Yeah, and mostly it's like mockingly. Like we bring it up because we make fun of it. We point at it and we laugh. Say, ha ha ha, PlayStation, I see you over there. And I don't want anything to do with you. Because I have a better alternative here. It is my computer. We basically say that. Maybe with different inflections, granted, but that's generally the idea. It's like when Sony, like remember that time Sony took the price that you were already paying to play your own games online? It's crazy that they do that, but remember how they used to be charging like a certain amount, and then they increased that amount, and you're still paying it? Like we talked about the PlayStation a lot when that happened.
And its incredible lineup of games that will not come to PC, no matter what these morons think.
Well, I mean, technically you're right. Whether or not these games will come to PC eventually doesn't really, that's not affected by what we think about it. But if you do look at the signs and you weigh in the things other companies are doing with what Sony's been doing, the signs are pointing to it. If I was the gambling kind of doggo, I would definitely put my money on PlayStation 4 games making their way to the PC. Right now, though, it doesn't really interest me all that much because, shit, I'm on PC. I got more games than I know what to do with. Many of which actually will never see the light of day on console, but that's for completely different reasons. There's no reason a console game shouldn't come or can't come to the PC. As I said before, with all these games, these reasons are pretty much all arbitrary in ways that many PC exclusives just aren't PC exclusives. I mean, mouse and keyboard support, maybe if it comes to consoles, we might start seeing more things like RTSs, turn-based strategy games, MOBAs, that sort of thing come to consoles. But until that happens, and until mouse and keyboard support is really in full swing on consoles, if it ever happens, again, that's probably not going to happen. I'm not going to sit up here and mock other gamers who play on consoles because they can't play these games. I would want them to, but the way that consoles are set up now, a lot of these games that are exclusives on PC, it just can't happen. It just won't work.
Not long after the tweet exchange,
with that person I won't name.
Remember, at this point in time, it's one guy communicating to another.
Publicly, for thousands of other people to see.
But alas, along comes the seven dwarfs to the rescue, to rescue Snow White.
I think it would be unwise to assume that you are the kind of person whom anyone would require rescuing from. I think maybe because you're the one with security issues, you're the one who conflates people supporting my point with being rescued. However, I will agree that my skin tone is lusciously light, especially the good bits where the sun don't shine.
Nobody needed help. They were doing fine all on their own, but a group of men just jumped on my tweets to defend this man. Some of these male YouTube groupies act like they're somebody's girlfriend.
Well, I mean, excuse me for having people who want to be my significant other online. I mean, yeah, it's strange and creepy, but, you know, at least I have that kind of magnetically attractive personality. But maybe you need a refresher in how social media works. When people say things on social media, and they have thousands and thousands of people following them, people who specifically follow that person to be updated on the things that that person says, it's part of the territory that when you get into exchanges with these people, that person and their many thousands of followers will have many of those followers state that they are going to take the position of the person they are following. In all fairness, though, you don't know what it's like to have a large amount of people following you on Twitter, but that's what happens. When you contact and get into exchanges with people who have a lot of followers, that is the result. And it is also important to note that I am not responsible for anyone's behavior other than my own. And for someone who tries to make such a big deal out of dignity and respect on the same platform, you say some pretty shitty things yourself. So don't try to make yourself out like you're some squeaky clean sort of personality, because you're not.
I had one particular bellend tell me it's my fault for not succeeding in life, which is why I play on console, which is why I play on the PS4, because I should have secured myself a career. Then I too could be playing at 120 frames per second in native 4K, insinuating that I probably work at a fast food restaurant and that I'll be serving this person their fries.
Well, playing at 120 frames per second at 4K, I mean, it doesn't matter what route you go, and you can only do that on PC. That's gonna cost. That's gonna cough up the dosh for that. So, you know, while he's obviously wrong for saying that, you do have to have a large sum of money in order to play at that level. I don't even play at that level. I don't know really anyone who does.
Yeah, the PC Master Race, everybody.
That's actually not the PC Master Race. That's just one guy. He's not indicative of a demographic. I mean, you could just as easily say, well, it was a man who said that, and I am also a man, therefore men are pieces of shit. I mean, it It doesn't, no. Doesn't work. Shouldn't use it here. That's silly. Now, while it's obvious that strangely you and JTech TV, for instance, share many similarities I've noticed, and I'm continuing to notice, I would never say that JTech TV is indicative of your behavior, or that JTech TV is, or that he is representative of PlayStation gamers, because PlayStation gamers come up to me all the fucking time, and they say, JTech, he's a ridiculous moron, he's a fool. He does not represent me. And I'm like, no, don't worry. I know. He's a special kind of stupid.
Now, I know some people will say, you shouldn't go after the PC Master Race. They'll come at you. They'll gang up. I don't give a flying fuck.
How brave.
This is not reality. This is not reality. These are some keyboard warriors. I have a real life, a real family, and real friends. I don't live in a basement with a tower PC keeping me warm.
Okay.
I cannot abide the closeted, elitist, arrogant, vermin mindset.
Okay.
It's not just the bots. It's not just the ponies. It's not even the Nintendo donuts.
But donuts are yummy.
No, I cannot abide pretty much any of these hardware fanatical idiots.
Well, clearly you can, I guess, because the people that you apparently are either too afraid to mention or just lack the courtesy to mention in your videos. I mean, you haven't blocked me on Twitter yet, and you're a gold mine, by the way. I'll make sure to add you to my list of people to check up on, but clearly you can abide it. Clearly you can deal with it. So maybe you should, continue to deal with it.
Seems to me the Master Race is more like the insecure race.
That's like saying Tom Brady is insecure because he's showing off his Super Bowl rings, or Arnold Schwarzenegger is insecure because he's flexing his muscles for all to see. I'm thinking you might be projecting because you're dealing with people who have way more successful, YouTube channels and higher view counts and things like that. But maybe, I don't know, it's an option, it's a possibility. Maybe that bugs you. Maybe it bugs you because you know not to actually mention me by name. You know to quote me, but not to actually use my name in your videos. So it does seem, from my perspective at least, looking down at you, it does seem a little...
If the PC is so awesome, why are they triggered by PlayStation 4?
Well, we're not, though. That's the thing. We laugh at it. It's a subject of ridicule for many of us, myself included. Let's just put it this way. The PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, they give us entertainment in a less than traditional manner.
I don't give a fuck for the feelings of morons.
Dignity and respect.
They can sort their own therapy sessions. No empathy for those who feel superior because of hardware.
Among the most classicalist of strawmans. Your wealth of new material impresses me greatly. Indeed, people who play on PC think they're actually better human beings because they say they have better hardware. Surely that's what they mean, right?
When all is said and done, I think you'll find PC elitists are probably the worst kind. Worse than any so-called best bot, or worst bot, or pony, or Nintendo donut.
Yeah, I think I've decided that Nintendo donut is not really... That's not really a good one. That one should be retired. That's just not very catchy at all. Sony Pony, Xbot, okay, that one works, but Nintendo Donut just, no, doesn't really catch. Let me think of one right here. I'm not even going to edit this. I can think of a better one. Nintendo, no, that's Nintendo. Oh, Nintendrones. Nintendrones. See? I don't know if someone came up with that before. Maybe they did, but there, boom, it's like 16 seconds that I've already come up with something better. Live. That shit's live.
PC elitists, what a despicable bunch of asshats. Total and utter scumbags. You know what the sad thing is? A lot of these PC elitists, mustard race, people think that it's their job to protect the consumer.
Nah, I don't get money from this yet. It's just a hobby. I gotta negotiate the licensing for all these dog pictures. But I was once a console fanboy myself. Dark days those were. Dark days. Dark days those were. And I came into the light. I saw the light. Now I'm a PC gamer. It's magical. It's wonderful. I'm putting my personality to good use. I'm leading people into the light. I get many thankses, many dayses. You see, I think that beyond the shadow of a doubt, playing on the PC is definitely the most consumer-friendly way to go. I think it offers you the most freedoms, the most choices, more options, all that stuff. The personalization, the customization, I love it. And I want to spread the joy that I have been receiving from PC gaming to other people. I don't like it when consumers are taken advantage of, and I think, especially when you pay $60 to play your own damn games multiplayer online, that's ridiculous how you pay that. I hate that, and I don't like that people have to pay that. That's just one obvious example of how I want to lead people to maybe a gaming option that doesn't have those kinds of fees, that has the cheaper games, that has all that customization and all the freedoms and all the things that come with PC gaming. I do feel like, in a way, I'm kind of obligated in a way to help my fellow gamers out. If not only just to entertain them, but to inform them. Because under this rough, fuzzy exterior, I've really got a heart of gold.
They think Sony are ripping you off.
They are.
They think Microsoft are ripping you off.
They are.
Whether they are or not, it is the consumer's choice.
Oh, I don't have dictatorial powers over what people actually do, you moron. I'm not actually affecting their choices here. They can choose whatever they want regardless of what I say. I'm trying to influence them, right? I'm trying to influence them to make a choice that I think will be better for them as it is better for many people as it has been good for me. This video of yours is far more of a bitch fest than it is substantive anyway.
The consumer's decision as to what they do with their money. Not yours, not I, or anyone else.
Again, I don't have the ability to make the choice for them. And no one ever said that it was my decision to decide for them. And no, I don't have that kind of power. I know I'm a great guy and all, but I can only do so much. I can't force people to do anything. I can only influence them. And I influence them with my arguments, with my debates, with my response videos. I will influence them with numbers and graphs and statistics and articles and funny dog pictures.
I literally had to block one of my own subscribers yesterday. Someone who claims I am one of their favorite PlayStation channels. And really, I have seen this fraud, this drama queen on numerous occasions running around Twitter, showing their ass, getting caught up, mixed up, eggs up.
Eggs up?
Involving themselves in things that just do not concern them, all while justifying their behavior.
Whoa, now hold the phone. Wait a second. Who are you to tell other people what does and doesn't concern them? Sorry, but doesn't that sound a little elitist of you? I mean, you can't go around making all these public tweets for everyone to see, and then when someone wants to comment on them, you say, this doesn't concern you. I mean, clearly it does, doesn't it?
Because Twitter is public. Woohoo! Yet you won't see their kind interfering in a street fight or a gunfight or whatever is happening, whatever discourse is happening in a public place. No.
Holy fuck! You might actually be on the spectrum. Fuck! He's comparing Twitter. You're comparing messages in text form that people send to each other through the internet on Twitter to engaging yourself in an actual gun or knife fight. Look, I'm no sociologist here. I'm no martial arts expert, but maybe the reason they wouldn't, interfere when two people are having a gun or a knife fight is because that obviously presents the issue that there becomes a real possibility that they could die. All right, let alone, first, okay, look, knife fights, insanely deadly, all right? Forget about all that garbage you see in the movies where people are jumping up and down and kicking and punching and spinning around and doing all this fancy stuff. No. A knife fight lasts 3 seconds, and at the end of it, you're dead, or you're bleeding out on the ground about to be dead. They're just going to run up to you and stab you a bunch of times. It's not fancy. It's this visceral, terrible, horrible, painful, awful thing. Knife fights are awful. They're not even fights. You don't fight with people. You just go up to someone and you stab them repeatedly with a knife. It's terrible. It's awful. I mean, what are you going to do? Two people are fighting with knives. What are you going to do? Just, like, volunteer to also get stabbed? In a fucking gunfight? You could get shot, you idiot. You have a vested interest in not becoming involved in a gunfight because you could die. What, the worst thing that could happen to you on Twitter is someone could type in all caps at you, I guess. Oh my god. What a ridiculous thing to say. I mean, Jesus, I go out and I shoot my guns all the time, and I'm like, I mean, one thing I will tell you, that this is a little bit of a tangent, but as someone who shoots guns regularly, while I'm shooting that gun at things, it really puts into perspective how awful it must be to get shot, and how much I really hope I never am put in a position where I have to shoot someone or where I am shot. That seems awful. The smell of the gunpowder and the air, just the loudness of it, the impact of the it's awful. It's terrible. I mean, I hope that when it comes time for me to die, I can look back and say, thank God buying that Glock was a wasted investment. And thank God I never had to use it. Ugh. Fucking people, Twitter. Oh my God. What are you? Is this a troll video? Are you clowning with me?
Oh, these cowards only have a false sense of power.
I think you have a very strange idea of what cowardice is.
Because they have the safety and security of their keyboard and mouse.
So next time you ever respond to someone on Twitter, that means we can call you a coward because you're hiding behind a keyboard, right? That's what you're saying. Is this you giving us permission to call you that? I'm just curious. Because if it is, then I might do it. I don't know. I might have time to kill, I suppose. You know, in between all my frames and my resolutions and all the bitches that I fuck in 4K.
They are the worst kind. Sneaky as fuck.
I thought we were pretty obvious about it.
You'll be communicating with these morons, and they will purposely tag in. They'll tag in whoever you're talking about or discussing.
Well, I mean, yeah, duh, of course. I mean, that's what you, yeah. It's weird that you think this is like a breach of etiquette or something. If you're talking about something or someone, you notify them, you know? Like, if people are talking about you, wouldn't you prefer that you be notified by them that you're the subject of something you're saying about you?
So they can be entertained by drama.
All right, confession time. Drama's entertaining. Sorry, it is. I find drama a little entertaining. The back and forths I have on Twitter sometimes, some of the videos I make on YouTube. I'm mortal like everyone else. All right. I love me some drama sometimes. Sue me.
These simpletons must think that I have the same low brain cell count.
Gosh, why would people assume that?
The same low intelligence, crash dummies. They try to bait you into drama on Twitter. These sad little imps have nothing to do on a Sunday.
Yeah, well, Sunday afternoons can be pretty boring. I mean, most people don't like to get turned up, as they say, on a Sunday, as Monday is the next day, consecutively following Sunday directly is Monday, which is not a fun day, okay? Despite what certain songs might say, Monday is not a fun day. Monday is a garbage day, and if I was a president, I would just abolish it altogether and be done with it.
Like the other 6 days in the week. I do not want or need followers or subscribers like that.
Well, you don't sound fun at all.
These people are frauds. I honestly cannot recall ever seeing a tweet or anybody saying get off PC gaming, it's crap, you need to game on console. I've never seen it personally. Anyone trying to encourage PC gamers to give up their PC gaming rig for console gaming.
Well, in my time on the YouTube website, I have seen these people, quite a few of them actually, and continue to see them to this day. I assure you that beyond a shadow of any sort of doubt, they are very real and they are very sincere, and they often, in the arguments they make, they're either wrong or they lie or they're ignorant about things, and that's where I come in. Whoosh. I mean, that's a great deal of my content, actually. And there are very few actual legitimate criticisms of the PC that hold water for a lot of people that you can make in a broad sense. That's why there are so few videos out there that are anti-PC or that are pro-console that are not downvoted into oblivion or that aren't satire. Actual satire, not this, which is, you just slapped satire in the description of this video, but, I mean, that's just copping out. I mean, generally, if you have to write out specifically in a very obvious way that something is satire, then you're not doing it right. It's like when you have to say, oh, I was just trolling. I mean, the idea is that you don't have to say, it's in the execution, you see.
It just doesn't happen in my circles. If it does anywhere else, I'm not aware of it.
Well, yes, you are. You're totally aware this happens. Don't lie to me. You think you live in a world where there's nobody who makes videos or makes comments that say, yeah, you shouldn't be on PC, you should be on console? Really? I don't believe you.
But you constantly have these PC elitists, rats, trying to get you to move from console to PC.
Yeah, I bet they have like fucking reasons and shit too. Can you imagine?
For flight simulators, for MMOs.
No, that and everything else.
I mean, ask yourself this. Is it so irritating to the PC elite goons that 50 million people prefer to play PlayStation 4 games?
Well, it's not entirely true, really, because if you haven't played on PC, and a vast number of that 50 million on PlayStation or whatever the number is now, if they haven't actually played on the PC and given it a fair chance, then can they truly say they prefer console, or do they just play console because it's all they've had and it's all they know and they haven't even cared to try PC gaming? Because I would reckon that a great deal of people would prefer the PC in enjoying its advantages. They just haven't actually tried it out yet, in a fair sense.
Nobody gives a rat's ass about what's coming to PC.
Well, I mean, I kind of do, a little bit.
They're too busy talking about God of War, Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's right about the Spider-Man thing. I know in most of the Discord chats that I go to, where they talk about PC gaming, they just instantly ban you if you even bring Spider-Man up. Like, hey guys, have you heard about the new Spider-Man game on PlayStation? Banned, you're gone. We're sick of hearing about Spider-Man. That's all PC gamers talk about is Spider-Man. Let it alone. Spider-Man's a pussy. You know who needs to make a comeback? Static Shock. Yeah, that's right. I'm a child of the 90s. Yeah, Static Shock and his white friend. What's his face? I don't even know.
Horizon Zero Dawn, The Last of Us Part 2, the Yakuza series, Ni no Kuni 2.
Oh, wow, that must be awkward. But, look, listen, I mean, I could sit here and I could start naming PC exclusives, but we'd be here for, like, a long time. We would be here for a long period of time, and some people want to fuff off and do better things than listen to me ramble on and rant with you. So if we want to play the numbers game, we can, but you don't want to do that because you're going to lose, alright?
Oh, by the way, how's Final Fantasy 15 on PC?
I don't know, how's Arma 3 on PlayStation? See, we can just keep doing this all day and it doesn't prove anything other than you're going to run out of things to say way before I do. And besides, when it comes to Final Fantasy, you understand it's probably coming, right? It's all but confirmed at this point. I mean, the director of it really wants to make a PC version with mod support, and it'll have all the big frame rates, and the resolutions, and keyboard and mouse support and everything. And he wants to do this version justice because it'll be the superior version. You know, you understand if it comes to PC, we'll be asking you, what is the shitty version of Final Fantasy 15 like? You understand that, right? I hope this ages well.
Is it great? Is it the best? Does it shit all over the console versions?
Well, like, basically every multi-platform game ever made. Yeah, it will, actually.
Oh, that's right. It isn't even out on PC yet.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's fine with me. I mean, I'm just playing my gajillion other games in the meantime. And you understand, again, that if it does come to the PC, and it really likes, it basically is almost everything but confirmed that it will come to PC, you understand that it will take a shit on the console version, right? You do understand this. You understand that it will take a dump on your version, right? You realize that it will just join the number of all the other multi-platforms that are far superior on the PC. You understand this, right? You're not missing this bit.
Some master race.
Look, if the prerequisites for being the master race is how many Final Fantasy 15s do you have, well, I guess we can, gosh, anything can make you the master race. Come on, you gotta set your bar a little bit higher than Final Fantasy 15. It's like, yeah, I pay this corporation like $60 a year or more, right? I pay them all this money to play my own games that I've bought from them on a system that I've bought from them. I pay them just so I can access the multiplayer segments of these games. And guess what? They don't even own the servers. What's up with that, right? But guess what? We've got Final Fantasy 15. We've got that game. So who's the real losers here?
So we have these YouTube parasites who don't really do much gaming stuff. Their channel exists solely to point out how inferior they think consoles are and to point out other people's flaws, probably because they can't confront their own flaws.
Well, here's the thing. You quote me, but you won't mention me. You won't say my name. You won't show the screenshot. The words will not leave your mouth that it was me of all people who said this. You won't do that. But you'll just say, oh, these channels, oh, these people, oh, this moron. I won't say who it is. Wouldn't want to do that. Wouldn't want to bring attention to myself. Wouldn't want them to know. You're sitting here calling people names, but oh, you'll say these channels. You won't say who. You don't want to name names. You don't want to make direct accusations. You want it to be nebulous and, out there in the void. You don't want to name specifics. You don't want to step on toes. So tell me a channel though. Tell me one of these PC channels that doesn't do any PC gaming and just makes videos. Do tell me. I'm so interested to know what these channels are. And again, whether or not they play games doesn't have anything to do with the arguments that they make or the information they present. It doesn't matter. But since we're pointing fingers at me, and you're just not going to say it's me, I mean, could you nut up a little bit and just say my fucking name? At least have the guts to tell people who you're pointing to.
I guess it's easy for some people to ridicule idiots. It makes them look more intelligent and allows them to hide their own insecurities.
No, if I was insecure about it, I wouldn't get involved. I'm extremely secure in myself. I'm incredibly competent. People call me overcompetent. They call me prideful. They say I'm too full of myself. Insecurity is hardly one of the things people say that I possess. Many times, I'm sure I've let my hubris get in the way of, me succeeding and all. I'm sure to some degrees I've let it get a little unhealthy at times. I try to dial it back when people call it up and I think it's right. I mean, if I was really insecure, why would I go after Adam Ruins Everything? Why would I go after a PBS show funded channel? Why would I go after The No? Why would I go after these channels that are massive if I was insecure? Knowing exactly the landmine field I could be stepping into, knowing I was poking the proverbial hornet's nest by doing this. Because an insecure person would never, let alone make response videos as his shtick, if you will, but go after people of their titanic size.
Daddy issues. Having a super powerful PC gaming rig compensates for their socially awkward lifestyle. I mean, if the only thing you can claim as your achievement in life is a powerful PC, something is seriously wrong there.
Well, can you point out the person who has said that, please? Or have you never actually seen or met or heard from this supposed person?
Insecurity, whichever way you want to butter it.
No, I think your understanding of that concept is, slim at best.
Someone on my Twitter feed actually wrote, I did spend on an OG PS4 and Pro and I still don't want a PC. I sit in front of one all day at work. And I don't want to do that at home, that's for sure. See, too many PC elitists and their cronies fail to understand. Many gamers don't give a flying fuck about PC gaming.
No, we understand that. We understand it very well. And people can make whatever decisions they want. And for some people, maybe console is the better choice. Again, we can't do anything but influence those potential decisions. But as for gamers who don't give a flying fuck about PC gaming, I would assume the ones who make videos of it online, I would maybe consider those people among their number.
Yet these so-called minds better than yours master race idiots constantly try to get you to switch to PC.
Oh man, can you imagine a world where on the internet of all places, people attempt to change your mind with reasons?
They are the equivalent of a persistent Jehovah's Witness. The PC master race, more like the PC Mormon race.
Mormons aren't Jehovah's Witnesses. Oh, that's where he ended his video. All right. Well, I'd hate to end a video on that note. Something else. Oh, you can follow me on the Twitter. I shit post there. It's great. I love it. It's fantastic. I talk to people. I might talk to you. Probably not, statistically speaking. So there you go. There you go. That's a better way to end the video. With a little plug at the end of me on my own channel. Fucking love plugging myself at the end. See, I'd much rather end a video with some anal humor.